Good day, guys. Today be the 22nd of December 2023. Guess I've been out for a while. And on today's episode, I'll be talking about spirituality and faith. A lot of people don't believe they are, spirit being. But I'll make you realize some things that makes you a spirit being. Before you were born, you don't you didn't get to decide where you want to be. I mean, apparently most of us would have not been in Nigeria or probably to Dangote's family and all of that. So that alone is one of the things I'll be talking about, us being spirit being. Now, spirit being explains that there is a supreme spirit who is your creator that created you. Everybody has a belief in their own God. You might see their God as not qualified or being a counterfeit of your God, but is their own spiritual supreme being. Now, the Christians will see God as, God, yeah. They'll see it as the supreme being, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, whom they run to when they have issues. Islam will see Prophet Muhammad, as to their run to God. These are their supreme spirit being that they run to or they believe strongly in. And I've mentioned this thing countless of times that Abdul Rashid, that was born in Kaduna to a strong Muslim family, if he was born in Adeboye's family in RCCG in Mowe Bafo, he would have been a pastor by now. So number one thing is we don't get to decide where we are born. Now, your creator, because all of us are creatures, right? So your creator is your spiritual being. There's a creator, there's a supreme being that destines your fate. I mean, some people, and let me try to clarify some things. If you have doubts about being a spiritual being, once you are born, you have a spirit in you, your soul. And that is why when you sleep, your spirits are the ones that you see in your dream, not you personally. You get? Just, help us couple that English this night, we'll come back stronger. So, and sometimes that you've heard of people eating in their dreams, and when they wake up, they have the food particles in their mouth. So, at that point, do you want to say that it was just a dream? That was your spirit that was involved in your dream. Your spirit are always your representative in your dream. And sometimes there's something called deja vu. Deja vu is when you feel something, a cognition that I think this thing has happened before. I think I've been here before. I think this thing has that is deja vu. That is what it entails spiritually is your spirit has been there before. Your spirit has gone ahead of you, has experienced that moment before you got there. And that's when your spirit connects with your body, that gives you a kind of reminiscence, and you feel a sort of connection, because a recognition that you feel like you have been there before. So we have a spirit that will connect with. And sometimes you see when some people are sleeping, yeah, and I'm a Yoruba guy, so permit me to make references to Yoruba scenarios. When some people are sleeping and they said that they invoke their spirit. A person without spirit his spirit cannot be invoked if you are not a spirit being. You hear about people that they say, wọ́n pè pa ni. That is, they invoked the spirit and killed the spirit while the person was sleeping without any health issues. Taking somebody's spirit away takes them away from life. So Your spirit is as important as your body. But a lot of people don't admit to these things. Sometimes you sleep, they invoke your spirit to communicate something to you. There are some elders that sometimes you see that, oh, this one, they've killed him already. He's just an empty person. That is, the spirit is already gone. If your spirit and your body doesn't connect, that means you are gone, because you are a spirit being. You have a soul. You have a supreme spiritual being that you connect to, that is your creator. Now, God has created us in different places, knows that we'll be bound to several religions. But then, the way and the procedures at which we worship and serve God will differ. But at the end of the day, all of us worship a supreme being. Your belief might not, might not align totally with another person's belief. But if you are genuinely worshiping your God, and another person is genuinely worshiping, there are just different procedures to address this. But it doesn't take the fact that at the end of the day, as a genuine believer that takes humanity first, when you feel you are communicating or connecting with your spiritual supreme being, you are communicating with your God, so is another person. So, and you don't have to, that's why I said you don't have to always talk people's opinions down, people's God down, people's belief down. There's a way the colonial masters makes the religion and people here feel very low of themselves. When before Christ, or during the time that Jesus was alive, English was not so fervent and it wasn't that popular like it is now. And when, after the death of Jesus Christ, AD, after the colonial masters and all of these things, now English became more popular, right? When English became more popular, they invented words. There is God, there is black, there is white, and so on. Now, the white people that invented all of these things make us realize that they are white, and white symbolizes, good, holy, saint, while black symbolizes bad, evil. And when they are trying to penetrate, they feel like, okay, these people already have religion, truly. Okay, how are we going to convince them that our religion is better? You already know how they went about that, and how they put it. How, when you write, they make you feel that your God is a smaller God, so you have to write it in a small letter. These are not in the Bible. These are not what God says. These are unconscious psychological game that will make you feel that truly your God is a smaller God to their God. And even before Jesus Christ came, there has always been religion, and people have been connecting to their spirit being. There are people that they'll have, serious life issues, and they'll say that they had to pray, communicate, maybe on their behalf or even their self, pray, connect with God to realize what their problem is, how they could solve it. This all happens in the spiritual realm. It happens in the spiritual world. If Yoruba calls it Emi, or a situation that somebody dies, they want to invoke the person's death to know what killed the person. Yoruba calls it Wonfe Roku. They invoke the spirit, definitely, not the body anymore. So sometimes when they attack, when people get attacked, when they are not physically present, their spirit is what is being attacked. So one of the things to realize is that we are all spirit beings. And it's important that you get a connection with your supreme spirit being. Have a relationship with it. Putting humanity first. And don't try to talk down other people's religion because you feel yours is better. The idea of the white people making your God seem inferior by saying he's a smaller God, so you use small letter. These things were not invented by God. use capital letter because our God is the supreme being, like yours are the smaller gods. I mean, before the invasion of Africa, we have always had the society, we have always worshipped our gods. He has always answered prayer. There has always been spiritual setting. People has always been, called, praised. They connect with their God, the Ogun, the Oya, the Shango. These gods were gods that they serve and answers them, and there have been, references and examples, and all of these things have been shown to the present generation. So, if they are so fake like people portray, how do they say they did all of these things? The god of lightning in Yoruba land, Shango, can be invoked. If it's fake, nothing is going to happen. But if you believe strongly in Odua, you believe in Ifa, that is your own procedure to communicate with your supreme being. Make it count. That doesn't mean that you feel less of a Muslim person because you think that the person is worshiping a smaller God. No. Our process of communication, relationship, belief differs, but doesn't mean that you should talk it down or feel or be very antagonistic. Hey, they will pa me now. It doesn't mean that we have to really antagonize them. As far as they preach humanity first, they preach peace. You get religion sometimes is an institution that misleads people. It has to be the worshiping of your God, communicating with your God, making people see your belief and why they should be convinced to join you. You are not supposed to go in a forceful way. You are not supposed to go in a forceful way to try to attack people, kill people because you want them to stick to your procedure of belief. If some people are that lackadaisical and they feel that they don't need to worship any God, there is no God, it's okay. It's their belief still. When you want to convince people, try to convince people with your way of life. When people talk to you rudely and they just see that you don't react and all of this, it will get to a point they will be like, this person will even the attack since innocent also. This person really dey patient. All of these things. So we have to realize that. And these are the things that can win people over: your simplicity, your way of life, putting human first, not because you claim you're a pastor, but you act very evil to people, you don't show love, you don't care for your fellow humans, but you feel that you are the holiest man alive. It doesn't work that way. And I don't want to go too far. And at the end of the day, I just want us to realize that, just like I said, I'm talking about spirituality and faith. Your faith in your God, stick to it while you respect other people's religion. You don't have to believe in it, but respect their religion. And if you want to try to win people over to your religion, you don't have to talk down other people's own. At the end of the day, we are going to eventually find out the most genuine God. But at the end of the day, we might all be serving the same God. And I'm telling you generally that if Pastor Adeboye was born to an Islamic family in the north, he might not have been a pastor now. Might. And the chances of him being a pastor might be 5/100. So the table could have turned. Respect other people's opinion, other people's religion, and accept the fact that you are a spiritual being. Trace your source and connect with your God. Love others, put humanity first regardless of their religion and their process of belief, which antagonizes yours, which doesn't portray the same analysis that yours as your own. Doesn't mean that you should not show love and compassion for other people when they need these things and you can offer it. So be deep enough to connect with your spirit and your supreme spiritual being. Only 4K, your supreme spiritual being, and respect other people's religion, and your faith, stick to it without disregarding others. Thank you, guys. I wish you an happy new year in advance. I wish you Merry Christmas in advance. May God spare us till many more years in fullness of joy and happiness. I always appreciate the views and the comment. Thank you. I've always procrastinated about I'll get this one, I'll get this one. I appreciate all my friends that reach out to me. They'll be like, your content is nice, but you have to do this and do that to give him more package and all. But I keep procrastinating, and I'm sorry about that. And I don't want to say I'm trying to work on it already because I said it in my last video. But right, I will work on it. Thank you, guys. Have a lovely Christmas. Bye bye. Yeah.